Hello, everybody. My name is Janice Frage, and I am the product manager of the Middle East and North Africa team at Family Search. And I have John Magannam with me today. We are so excited for today's webinar, and I can see that a lot of you are excited as well. We're already seeing a lot of comments. This is great. I'm really excited about today's webinar for a lot of reasons, but one of the main reasons is because I'm from Ramallah myself. My parents were born and raised there, and I was born and raised in Michigan. And yeah, so really happy to be here tonight. A couple of things. So first, I just wanted to explain what Family Search is, and I want to talk a little bit about this webinar series. So Family Search is a nonprofit, and we've been around since 1894. It was first called the Utah Genealogy Society. And we are dedicated to helping people connect to their ancestors and to their current families. And the best part about FamilySearch.org is that we are a free service. So you can register for free and use all of our services. So I'm on the Middle East North Africa team, and on that team, we're specifically focused on helping people in and from the Middle East and North Africa region connect to their ancestors. So we are doing whatever we can to collect records and to meet with people just to find out what Family Search should look like for our demographic. So before I introduce John, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Let us know in the comments. I would love to, okay, so we have Tampa, Florida, Columbus, Atlanta. This is super exciting. San Jose. Okay, this is awesome. So many people from all over the United States. Thank you all for joining us. Now I'd like to take a minute just to introduce John. So John is based in San Jose, California, and he has deep roots in the Ramallah community. He was born in Jerusalem, Palestine, and he lived in Ramallah throughout high school before he relocated to the US for college. And afterwards, he built a career in engineering in the Bay Area. He worked in San Francisco and San Jose, but also traveled worldwide. In 2003, he began developing the Ramallah Family Tree Project, which he's going to talk about more. And it's an initiative that has helped strengthen connections across the global Ramallah community, which is a continuation of Aziz Shaheen's work. So I personally have this book. So this is the book, the Aziz Shaheen book, one of the resources that John has used to help create his amazing database. And I know that so many people from Ramallah view this as a Bible. It's just been so helpful for all of us. So John, we are so excited to hear from you today. And one thing I wanted to tell the audience before we continue is please, if you have any comments, if you're watching from Facebook, just comment on the Facebook link, YouTube, same thing, and then we'll get to as many questions as possible. We only have an hour, and so we might not be able to get to every question. Well, that being said, John, take it away.
Well, thank you very much, Janice. Before I proceed, is there a way of finding how many people are on the webinar right now?
That I don't know. We've already had probably about 50 people comment, but I'm not sure how to tell how many people are here, but I'll try to find out for you, John.
Okay, thanks. I should go share slides, right?
Yep.
Am I sharing or?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thanks. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Family Tree webinar. I'm John Magannam, as Janice mentioned, and I welcome you all to this webinar. And the purpose of it is understanding how to navigate the Ramallah Family Tree Project. This project is a continuation of an effort, monumental effort, that was started by the late Aziz Shaheen in Ramallah. But his data stopped in 1970. And what we're trying to do is correct that data wherever there's mistakes and bridge the gaps all the way to today, if possible. I remember when I was a kid, Aziz Shaheen, he used to go around and meet with people and meet with families and ask them, especially those who come from home to visit from either the US or anywhere else. And he would ask them, who are your kids? Who are your brothers' kids, and mothers' kids, and uncles and cousins, and to add them to his tree, which he ultimately published in a book. That book is the same one as Janice mentioned, but I'm showing you here the binder for it, or the jacket for the book, so you get to see how it looks like. This is the Arabic side of it, and this is the English side of it. The book is still available from the Federation. If you get on their website, you can order the book. They keep publishing periodically. I just wanted to mention that helped me with the effort is Dr. David Saw. He's a big help for me to continue this effort, as well as I want to thank the many of the Ramallah community in San Jose who helped me way back then in 2003 to enter the data into the software. In addition, I want to thank FamilySearch.org for putting on this seminar and the effort to get us to where we're at with this seminar. This is very helpful, and thank you very much, family.
Hey, John, before you continue, I just wanted to say, I wanted to share a comment that we got from Frederick Kadora. He said, remembering Ramallah is also a good source for discovering roots. And I just love that so much. Another thing I want to mention, for those of you who might be watching who don't have roots in Ramallah, but you're just interested in Middle Eastern genealogy, we're so excited to have you. And we're hoping that at least some of the things that we share with you today can benefit you. So, okay, go ahead, John.
Thank you. With this, let me go ahead and get started with the webinar here. So the goals from this session, what I was hoping to accomplish with this session for all of us is kind of give you a very, very brief glimpse of the original Ramallah clans, how they were structured, few of the renowned individuals from Ramallah, and then ultimately is how to access the Ramallah family tree and how to edit it and update it online. So I hope I'll be able to address all that today. And please feel free to ask questions. I don't want this to end up being a one-way street, me talking and you guys are listening. If you have any questions, please send it through. And Janice, as well as her team, Heidi, and will help you ask the questions. I will see them in the comments and I will attempt to answer. If the time runs out, please feel free to send me or send familytree.org the comment and they will forward it to me. Thanks. So what are the origins of Ramallah? Believe it or not, the best I can find is that the word Ramallah appeared in a French settlement history book for historian Ray at about 1200 AD. Now, I'm not sure whether Ray is of his first name or last name. I'm guessing it's his last name, but this is how he was referenced. I imagine, that was a different Ramallah than the one we're talking about now. The majority of the Ramallah people, the original Ramallah people, descended from Rashid al-Haddadi or Haddad. The information we have, starting about 1550. And then descendants of Rashid are the ones that are included in this Ramallah tree that I'll be talking about today. By the way, for those of you who don't know, al-Haddadin means blacksmiths. Haddad is singular, or blacksmith. And the reason being is that was his profession where he was working. He was a blacksmith. That doesn't mean all his family were, but he was. Rashid originally was from the Ghassanite family, the Ghassanite tribe, which is a very large tribe that was in the Levant. The Levant is Palestine, Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, and Iraq. These are the areas that are considered part of the Levant. And he was actually, or the Ghassanites were assigned by the Roman Emperor to be the protectors of the Eastern Roman Empire, so to speak, at that time. So it was a very respected, to be proud of tribe. He lived in, Rashid lived in al-Karaki at the time in East Jordan. But because of crop failures, plus poor socioeconomic conditions, he was forced to migrate out of Jordan and into Palestine. Now, for brevity, he jumped around between, he first went to Bethlehem, then he went to Hebron, to Khalil, and after that he was welcomed by the clans in El Bire, and they asked him, offered him to settle in the mountains near El Bire, which is now Ramallah, because there were, all the mountains there were full of trees, which he can use for his trade, the blacksmithing.
So, John, we did get a question that I would love you to address.
Sure.
This is from Anthony Tota. He says, has there been any interest outside our Ramallah community to share our story and our integration into the U.S.? Movies, books, speaking engagements, etc.
Well, I do get a lot of requests. I think this webinar here is the first time I was asked from organizations at large to actually present our story, and I'm hoping that it'll be more of those that they, after they see this, will get the opportunity to do that. There's another organization with the acronym of NASAB, which is the tries to deal with the genealogy of all Middle Easterners, and they asked me at one point to present to them. But I do present in all of the, in most of the Federation conventions. Last time it was in San Francisco, and I will be doing the same in Houston this year too. But beyond that, it's been only individual effort.
Okay. Wonderful.
Thanks. So, where did I get this information that I'm presenting to you? The grandfather of Ramallah history is Yusuf Julius Kandura. He was an educator in Ramallah in the 40s and 50s, and he wrote a book about the history of Ramallah, because before that it was all oral history. He took it upon himself to take that history and write it in a book, which turned out to be an excellent book. It gives you a very good idea of where we started, where we came from, what our clans are, and so on. The book that I relied on in developing this information, again, it's Aziz Shaheen's book, the one I showed you the jacket for, and it was the start of it. Although it says it was published here in 1982, but the data actually dates back to the early 70s. A lot of the information, in fact, most of the information also came from the Greek Orthodox and the Roman Catholic churches, based on their data, records, births, baptism, and deaths. And it was researched primarily by Dr. Nassif Shaheen, which is the next book on the list there. He, I lost you there?
Nope,
okay.
Nope, you're still here.
It's, yeah, it's the next one down here. He did the pictorial history of Ramallah. And although his book, that book was primarily photos of old photos of Ramallah, but in the beginning of it, there is a very clear treatment of proving where the Ramallah people migrated from and how they came about. And he went through the archives from the churches as well as the Ottoman archives in Istanbul to figure all that. He did a monumental effort there. Also, he did the second part 2 of pictorial history of Ramallah, which also had some of the history too. The issue related to the Arabic tribes and the Ghassanides and on, I found those in books that I found in my travels to Saudi Arabia. So I bought those books and I used them to develop the relationship there. And there's too many of them to enumerate here.
John, we have a few questions.
Okay.
John Rukab asks, didn't Rashid live in Shobek, Jordan also?
Well, it's really, that's a very good question. I have stories that he lived in Shobek, and I have stories that he lived in El Karak. But these two places are so close that some people call it Shobek and some places called it El Karak. He probably was somewhere in between, is my guess. Because, you know, they're nomads in those days and they used to go around and spread out as much as they can. So it depends on who the writer is. I hope this helps.
Okay, wonderful. You can continue.
So, how did we start the Ramallah Family Tree Project? We started it, I got involved with it in 2003, when a lot of the people were asking before then as to how do we know our genealogy? How do we know who we are? We're not in the book, and how do we find out? So we decided to start with Aziz Shaheen's book and update it to today. And the whole idea is to help the new generation understand their ancestry. We would like people to know where they came from and to maintain their connections to Ramallah and the homeland in Palestine, obviously. We want them to know and be proud of themselves being Palestinians from Ramallah. Uh, an added goal is establish a database, a searchable database for all Ramallah descendants, regardless where they reside. When we talk now, I mean, I have people reach out to me from all over the world. I have people, in addition to obviously Palestine, of course, the majority of Ramallah people are in the US, but many from Jordan, Austria, Netherlands, Australia, New Zealand, multiple countries in South America, Peru, Chile, Mexico, and Brazil. They all reach out to me and asking questions and adding information. And if I have time here, I'll tell you some stories about that too, depending on how we're doing. I hope you're keeping check on me with the time, Jen.
Yes, yeah, we're doing great. So, John, before you leave the slide, I just wanted to say this has been such a blessing for so many people, including myself. Part of the difficulty, so when I first saw this book for the first time, you all see that there's, English on the side, but most of the book is actually written in Arabic. And I didn't know how to read Arabic at the time. Now I do. I learned in college, but I didn't know at first. And so I was very intimidated by this book. And so the fact that you have gone through so many efforts to translate and update, that's just been so incredible for those of us that are really interested in connecting to our Palestinian roots. The other thing that I love about what you're doing is that, like you mentioned, there are some mistakes. There are some things that need to be updated. So, for example, my mom has six sisters, but in this Aziz Shaheen book, it shows that she has seven sisters, that there's eight girls altogether. So yeah, I just want to thank you again for your efforts. And also, I just wanted to say, I'm looking at all of the comments and seeing that people are so grateful. They're echoing my words. They're very grateful for what you're doing. You have quite the fan base, and people are coming in from all over. We have somebody from Tunis, from all over the United States. So again, thank you for all that you're doing for us.
Thank you. I really appreciate the comments and the encouragement. It's really helpful to see that. And I know that our community, the Ramallah community, that is, are very encouraging and they're very appreciative of the effort.
Yes.
You asked me before, Janice, as to what made me be so interested in actually pursue this. And maybe I can answer that to you now instead.
Yeah, that would be great.
And I have a love of history, and I always read a lot of history. But when we started looking at the history of Ramallah and whatnot, and I learned that there is a huge gap. I wanted to reduce that gap, not only for the people of Ramallah, but it kind of made me interested for my own three sons, so they will know where their roots are. My kids were working here and there or in school, and they would meet other Ramallah kids in the area here in San Jose, and they will come back. Well, how are we related? Are we close? Are they first cousins? Are they? So I said, well, if this is the case with my kids, I'm willing to bet that every other parent feels the same way about his kids. So I thought this effort will be well appreciated, and thankfully it was. So this is fantastic. I really
I love
appreciate
it.
it, and I enjoy it very much. And an excellent part of my effort is meeting all the people that I meet through uh, connections regarding the Ramallah community from all over the world, and they tell me their stories and what they're finding out. So thank you all.
Thank you. You're welcome. So, John, people are asking more questions, but as I'm reading through them, I know that you're going to be answering some of them. So continue. And for those of you who are anxious to get your questions answered, they will be answered shortly.
Of course. Uh, so let me move off of this slide. Now, notable individuals from Ramallah. It's funny because Ramallah Federation does not maintain a database of notable individuals for Ramallah, as far as I know, at least. So I kind of racked my brain and asked a couple of people, and I came up with this list. It may not be inclusive by any means, and I hope I'm not uh, missing anybody here. I'm sure I'm missing a lot of people, no doubt. But the first one I can think of, and you would recognize the name, is Muganam Muganam, or Magannam Magannam in Arabic. Yes, his first name is the same as his last name for whatever reason. He was a lawyer. He was the head of Palestine Lawyers Association, but he actually defended the cause of Palestine at the UN in 1948. Obviously, he wasn't successful. He was a member of four people who tried to defend Palestine and Palestinians at the UN. But he was also, perhaps even more importantly, he was instrumental at saving many people from death in Palestine prior to Israel, primarily during the 1936 uprising in Palestine, from being killed uh, by the British. So, and a lot of them they still remembered. I was surprised once. I was driving through one of the villages just for a visit, and an old man was sitting there smoking his cigarette, locally grown tobacco cigarette, and he was pretty old. I mean, that must have been at least 25 years ago. And he, I went to talk to him. He was sitting there outside just to chat, and he asked me, "Where are you from?" And I told him Ramallah, and he says, "Oh, nice people up there." I said, "Well, thank you." And then he says, "What family?" I said, "The Muhannam." He goes, "Oh, you are family. You are our family too." And he took us in and he wouldn't let us go, but he wants to offer us dinner. And the reason being is Muganam has defended him in the British courts, and they were almost ready to hang him. And he actually got him released. So he was very appreciative. And there's a lot of stories like that.
Wow.
The other great person, I believe, is Dr. Farhat Ziadeh. Uh, He is well known in the educational circuits. He established the Department of Near Eastern Languages and Literature at the University of Washington in Seattle. He has many, many accolades, and he is well known for developing many lectures and books and writings in the humanities, and he has many honors. So I felt he was at least uh, worthy of discussing here. Mr. Saman Bawat, he was a Supreme Court judge. Sorry about the spelling there for the word supreme. I just noticed that I'm missing an E. He was a
It's
Supreme Court judge under the British mandate in Palestine. But later on, after Jordan took the West Bank, he became a minister in multiple positions in Jordan, as well as a director of many important companies in Jordan. But on the lighter note, but still important note, is Chef Michael Rafidi. He's a Michelin star restaurateur and chef, and James Beard chef in DC. And I'm told his restaurant, his food is excellent. He's top notch, and it's very hard to get into. I've never been there myself, so these are the ones I can think of. If any of you guys know of others, please send that to me by email, and I will share the email with you in a minute because I'm curious as to who else am I missing. I know I'm missing men. So,
So,
how
John, sorry, there are a few questions and comments that I'd like to share with you before you continue, if that's okay.
sure.
And I know some of these things you will be addressing later. So a few people have said that the Ramallah book is actually not available on the website. Do you know if they're working on making it available anytime soon? I'm not sure if you know
I
what's
thought
happening
it
there.
was available because I saw the advertisement at
Okay.
we have a community magazine through the Federation called Hadihi Ramallah, and it
Uh-huh.
was advertised there. But what I suggest is send them an email and they'll tell you. But
Okay.
now I'm making myself a note to actually check.
There's actually somebody too that just posted, Caitlin Bata, thank you. She just posted a link, another link that people could go to access the book. So
Okay,
thank
well,
you for
good.
that. Also, I want to say that there is somebody joining from the Philippines. So how
Wow,
cool is that? I know, right?
wow. That
I
is
know.
cool. Uh,
Pretty amazing. Um,
who
oh, go ahead.
who else is joining internationally? Is there a way of know besides the Philippines? Is there
Yeah,
anybody
if
else?
you, for those of you who are joining us internationally, if you can just put in the comments where you're joining from, that would be amazing. So, a couple of other questions from this is from Murad Farah. He says, "Is there any possibility of doing a census for the Ramallah family?"
That would be tough. I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm thinking on a lot as it is. I'm not going to be able to do a census myself, but this would be a good suggestion that I can send to the federation, Ramallah Federation.
Yes.
The federation now has a CMS website which asks people to go in and sign up. You don't have to pay anything and provide the information. And in a way, it's providing an indirect way to do census. But as far as I know, there was never a census yet. And if anybody is there on right now online from the federation, maybe they can take this to heart and get something going. But thank you for the
Okay.
comment. That's a good idea, really.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Okay, and then somebody, so Jafar Haddadin says, as a cousin originally from Karak, and there is more to the story, how Sabra, Rashid's father, ended in Ramallah. I would like to have this project evolve to connect our family in one place dating back to Sabra.
That would be fantastic. You can help me fill in the blanks there. I really don't mind. Uh, what I know is that Sabra was Rashid's brother. He did migrate to Ramallah with his brother Rashid. He stayed there for a while, but then for whatever reason, he decided he wants to go back to Karak. Uh, and I don't know why, but he did end up going back to Karak.
Okay,
Now, if you have more data that you can provide that I can include, I am happy to do so.
amazing. Okay, thank you, John. You can continue.
You're welcome. So this is how the Ramallah clans are structured. You have obviously Rashid al-Haddadin here, who's the originator of all the clans, and he has 5 kids, 5 sons. Um, 4 of them, the green ones, the ones in green here, are each a different clan: the Ibrahim clan, Juris clan, and so on. His son Haddad had also 5 sons, but each of them had such a large, these 5 sons had such a large family, they decided to call them a clan. So we have the Sharaka clan, which is what I come from, Yusuf clan, Awad, and so on. Azuz clan was used to be very large, but for some reason their numbers dwindled. And I'm not sure whether, I can't remember whether that's because of wars, people killed in wars, or was it disease or what, but they became very small. So decided to join the Jarab clan and they became part of the Jarab clan. But I'm tracking them here separately because Aziz Shaheen's book tracked them separately. Now, so the total clans in Ramallah are 8. You've got 4 here and really 4 here. So there's a total of 8. And I get that question so many times, and people argue with me whether there are 5 clans or 7 clans or 9 clans. Well, this is where we at. It's 8. And that's what it is. Now, the clans from the original children of Rashid al-Haddadin, they're called the Haddadi. But they named the clans from his son Haddad al-Hamayil. And people, even when I was growing up, I remember talking, people were talking about al-Hamayil and al-Haddadi. I never knew what the hell they're talking about until I saw this. Now, as you can see, there's a dashed line here to Rafidi. Rafidi is a clan that was actually in Ilbiri, but they were so close to Ramallah people and they intermarried heavily with Ramallah that most of Ramallah people consider them as part of Ramallah. And that's why Aziz Shaheen included them in his book. And we consider them as part. There's, you know, in the Ramallah tree, you will see a lot of the people from Ramallah are married into Rafidi clan and vice versa. Now, for some reason, I'm getting any, not very rarely, I get any updates from Rafidi family. So if there's anybody on this um, webinar from Rafidi family, please help me spread the word and maybe we can get updates.
Hey, John. By the way, I was literally just about to ask you. Julia Rafidi was asking why there's a dotted line for Rafidi, and you just answered that, so that's perfect. Also, I wanted to say, so this is a question more for me as a family search associate. This is from Jerry. It says Family Search should incorporate DNA testing features similar to those offered by MyHeritage to enhance users' ability to trace their family connections and ancestral origins. That is a great idea, Jerry. We don't have that ability right now, but one thing you do that you should know is that MyHeritage and Ancestry are actually partners of ours. So we partner with them. So part of the reason why we don't offer that service ourselves is because our partners do. And there are ways to, once you get your DNA through some of those other sites and you build a tree through their sites, you can easily integrate those trees into the Family Search site as well. So, and also we have a question from Mabruk Javahi, who is joining us from Tunisia. And he is asking, he says, good evening from Tunisia. What about civil records of Ramallah and other West Bank towns before 1967 under Jordanian rule?
The best records that we can find, government records are messed up, as you guys might figure in that part of the world. They're really messed up. So you can't find a whole lot. But
Okay.
the records that we relied on is church records because people get married, people get, once they're born, they have to get birth certificates, marriage certificates, death certificates, and on and on. And every single occasion is registered in church records. So they've received a lot of that information from church records, and it's pretty reliable. It turned out over the years. But government records, as far as I know, the only thing that we relied on was the Ottoman census, where Aziz Shaheen's son, when he did his book, he actually went to the census from the Ottomans, and he looked at their census over the years in Istanbul, and he found out that and then he found out how the numbers of each town increased. Now remember, you're talking about small families, and all these towns at the time were extremely small. So adding 20 or 30 people to that town will increase and inflate the number of the town's population. And he was able to track that across the towns in Palestine or the West Bank until they got to Ramallah. But as far as I know, this is the extent of it. I hope that answers your question.
That's great. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll have you continue and then we'll ask a few more questions later.
Okay. I mentioned to you earlier that I looked at the genealogy of the Ghassanides, which is what Rashid al-Haddadin comes from. And based on that information, I was able to tie Rashid al-Haddadin all the way to Adam and Eve. Now, I know this is an eyesore, and you can't even see it behind me here, but there's around 55 or so generations between both. But full disclosure, there is one area here where there's some generations which are unknown. I couldn't tie them. But the next this is Al-Harith bin Jabala, which is a known Ghassani leader in the Ghassanite tribe, and he's tied into with Rashid al-Haddadi. Now, this knowledge here, the tying all the way back, it's from those books which tied the genealogy of the Prophet Muhammad back to Adam, but we utilize it to get this information for the Ghassanites. The other part of it is Dr. Yasmin Shaheen. She was a professor at the Sorbonne in Paris, and she worked for the United Nations Cultural Committee. She did her own research, and she's the one that tied Al-Harith and the Ghassanites with Rashid al-Haddadi, and we relied on that quite a bit. So this is a chart. A lot of people argue with me about this chart because a lot of it depended, this part of it, on the Bible, and they argue with that this is right or wrong or what have you. But so I'm happy with it. I like it. I think it works. But others aren't. So please don't send me any emails complaining about this chart, because that's the best I get. If you have any constructive criticism on the chart, I'm happy to take that.
I mean, I think this is amazing. If this is true, and I trust, I mean, if you're saying it, you believe it, and you think this is true, I think this is incredible that we can trace our lineage all the way back to Adam and Eve.
Yeah, it's been not too many people in this world can say that they know their ancestry all the way to Adam and Eve.
No
But
kidding. Wow.
yeah, the family tree itself on the software, about 29,000 people right now. We know that the Ramallah people worldwide, mostly they're in the US, but about 40,000 or so people. So we still think we have a gap of people that we can add. So please send us updates so we can close that gap for the benefit of all your kids and future generations.
John, that's actually a great segue to another question that we received
Sure.
from a few people. How do you do that? Where do you go to send those updates?
Well, that's what I'm going to get to next.
Okay, perfect.
I mean, that's the main purpose of this webinar, and I'm going to
Yes.
tell you exactly how it is.
Okay.
By the way, I had people from South American country, from Peru, sorry, from Chile. A fellow contacted me, and he had a Hispanic last name, and he says, "Well, he found, apparently he stumbled upon the Ramallah family tree on the website, and he sent me an email saying, well, my ancestry is from Ramallah, and I want to send you updates to include them." So I told him, let's talk to him at length. Turns out he's a pediatrician in Houston, Texas, and he says that his there's a fellow from Sa family migrated to Chile in the I'm guessing it's in the 1920s. And in those days, people used to go to Jaffa or Jaffa, and they want to get out of that under the Ottoman Empire. I know I have an uncle who left in 1914 to run away from the Ottoman military service. They don't want to go and serve in the military. So what they used to do is go to Jaffa, uh, get on a boat, and they can't afford to pay, so they put them to work on the boat, either hauling coal or who knows, clean up, janitorial, whatever. And then hopefully they hope to end up in America. Well, apparently this fellow, they told him you're in America, but it turns out it's South America instead of North America, and he's
Wow.
settled in Chile. And after a while, he got married there and he had kids. But he also had a girlfriend on the side, and he had kids from her. And this person that contacted me, who's in Houston, was one of the kids of the girlfriend on the side. So he sent me their whole tree, and there was over 80 people in
Wow.
that tree. And I checked around here before because I really am very careful to try to maintain the integrity of the data. I checked around here with Sa family, and they told me yes, we we know of somebody who went, and they told me his name, and it agreed. So I added them all to the tree, just
Wow.
just for you to see how it goes. That was a
Yeah.
positive story.
I love that. And thank you for sharing that. One thing I love is hearing of stories like that. So when I look through this Ramallah book with all the names, it's amazing, right? Just learning more about like when certain people were born or how many children they had and things like that. But then it's sort of limited, right? You don't have all of those additional stories. So I love that you're sharing some of these amazing stories. So thank
Yeah,
you for that.
I actually enjoy him a lot. I
Yeah.
had, well, I guess I better rush here, but I want to tell one more story. I
Yeah.
had a young lady send me an email, same thing. She was by chance looking through the web and found the Ramallah website. And she sent me an email saying, my ancestors from Ramallah, and I want to add my name and my kids to the Ramallah tree. And I'm looking at her name and doesn't look anywhere near Middle Eastern. So I asked her, I said, well, you don't sound Middle Eastern to me. And she goes, no, 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 that's my married name. And she was a nurse, and she told me her last name, her family name, and I checked around here, and it's true. It is Ramallah. The name sounded right to me, and
Yes.
it was Ramallah. So talking to her further, she said, "Well, who's your father?" So I told her my father's name, and she went and she told her dad, who was in his late 80s, and she said, "I told him the name, and he started crying." And she told him, "What's the
Oh,
that he knew your dad before he even emigrated to Australia or New Zealand?"
wow.
It was. They were working together on projects back in Palestine in those days. But that goes to tell you, you get to know people. I got to know people that I never imagined. There's
Yeah.
there's few stories which I won't get into, which weren't very pleasant. But so there is the positive and the negative, but it keeps it interesting.
Yes, definitely. Before you go on, I'm just going to address a few questions that people are
Sure.
asking about being able to watch this webinar later. Yes, this is all being recorded. So whatever platform you're watching this, you can go back and watch again. Also, you can go to rootstech.org. So ROOTSTECH.org to see not just this particular webinar, but all of the webinars in our series, our Roots and Route series. And also, somebody asked specifically, how do I learn about genealogy? Are there any genealogy courses? So Roots Tech is an annual conference that we have every year in person and online. It's usually around beginning of March into February, and it's held here in Salt Lake City, Utah. But you can visit rootstech.org anytime, and you can view any of our courses that we have. So please visit rootstech.org to learn more about genealogy in general, and like I said, to view any of the webinars that we've ever hosted. So
Great. Moving on. So, what updates do we need? We need, there's a lot of the names that are spelled wrong. Particularly, a lot of people, when they migrated to their country, when they emigrated to this country, they changed their names. They went from one last name to another last name, or they changed the spelling of the last name, and so on. So they're very hard to find. So we don't make these corrections because in Aziz Shaheen's book, he took the name all the way almost back to Rashid al Haddadi. And of course, most people aren't using the name that far back. So if you have any corrections like that, we'd love to have them. We have, we'd like to add the names of individuals that are not on the tree. Plus, the tree originally, Aziz Shaheen's book, did not include any females. We've been trying to add as many females as we can. So obviously, the newer generations, all the emails are there, but the older generations, they weren't. So if we have that, we will add it. Dates, correction for dates, whether it's birthdays, death dates, marriage dates, and even divorce dates, and so on. We also track those. Any other information the individual may have or accolades in terms of nicknames, titles, education, honors, military records, things like that, inventions, things like that, we would like to include them. I have some, um, I have a birth certificate for people from all the way to 1800s, which was issued by the
wow.
Ottoman Empire, and it's included in there. Just it's very interesting actually. So whatever information you want to include, I can also include photos on the tree, but I need headshots. Some people send me wedding pictures with 15 million, 10 or 15 people, and going through with Photoshop and trying to find the headshot, it only shows the headshot. So if you send
Mm.
only the headshots, I'm happy to include. If you don't, that's okay. But these things I can include. So how do you get there? You got to go to the AFRP website. By the way, you don't have to be a member of AFRP. AFRP stands for American Federation of Ramallah Palestine, which is the umbrella organization that oversees Ramallah activities, the entire Ramallah community. If you go to their website again is afrp.org. Click, let me go and show you. So this is their website, afrp.org. Once the page opens, you go under programs here and then come down here and there's Ramallah Family Tree. Click on that and you will get this page. It'll take you to this page, and it has two icons here. This one here, join the project. Once you get in there the first time, click on join the project. And what it'll do, for various reasons and legalities, to be honest with you, and for data integrity, is send me an email asking me if you should join the team or not, you have access or not. And most of the time, I can tell from the last name whether the person is Ramallah related or not. But if it's not obvious, I will ask the question, and I need the clarification as to why do you want to see the data. Once I approve it, you will get an email back from the website. Then you come back to this same page and click on members only area. And what that will do is it will take you to this page, which is really where it has all the information. These are the clans, and each one of these icons here is a PDF file or PDF book. Some of these books are huge. I mean, they're like 4,000 pages, like for the Ibrahim clan, Julius clan, Shakara. They're really large. So we couldn't do them in an organizational chart type situation. So we had to put them in a book. You got to go in there and dig through the book to understand what's going on or to see yourself. These two charts are the one I showed about the ancestry all the way to Adam. They're up here. If you'd like it, you can go and download them from there. But the best way to find in your book, I mean, if you have a 4,000 page book, how do you look through it? And I admit it's not an easy task. But the way I would do it is I would go into the PDF search bar and look up your name, or I would go into the index. Each book has an index with all the names in it in the back. And it lists them under the name, the last name, or the family name. So if you go there and look for the name you want to see, yours or your parents or grandparents for that matter, and it'll tell you what page it will appear on, sometimes multiple pages. So you go back to these pages and you find your information. If something is not correct or is not right, that's when you send me the updated information. So there is a form online that you can update the information. You can fill it out and update it. Let me go back to where you find it. You see here, right here, that's sending updated information there. Click on it, opens up a page, you fill it out, send it, and I will get it. Or what you can do, a lot of people still have a hard time finding themselves. If you send me the name of your parents, both of them, and grandparents, I can send you your grandparents' smaller book, smaller version of a book that you can look through and look for changes. And then you can send me the changes by email. Just email me directly. This is my email, heyjohnny@gmail. It's hey with two Y's. So it's relatively simple. And if you send me that, or if you want to ask me questions, or if you don't know what clan you're from, because finding which book to go to, you got to know which clan you're from. If you don't know which clan you're from, send me an email, and I'm happy to find out for you from other sources, the family, the clan that you're from. The other challenge that you will find is many people have changed, as I mentioned, their last name. Like many people from Hanna family, there used to be Jalab, and now here they became Hanna, or they became Salam, or they became things like that. So it's, if you go and look under Salim or Hanna, you might not find them. So when you go and look for a name, you've got to see, you got to look under multiple places to see where you find yourself. Thank you, Janice, for putting the email here. Appreciate it. So if you get stuck, believe me, just email me and I'm happy to help. That's what I'm trying to do.
John, I think you're going to be pretty busy after this webinar. I have a feeling a lot of our participants
That's
are
okay.
going
That's
to
my
inundate
goal.
your inbox.
Yeah, that's my goal. I'm looking forward. I'd like to update it and have it available. We are working with the Federation now on allocating budget, hopefully, so we can update those pages and make it a little bit more friendly for people to navigate and understand. So bear with us, and we continue to improve it. If you have any other ideas of how to improve things, I'm happy to listen to. So please send them over.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thanks, John. We do have a few more questions, and we have about 9 minutes left. So if you don't
Okay.
mind.
Sure.
So we have it's actually a comment, and I have something to say on this from Salim Majlouni. Salim says, in the early 1980s, while I was a graduate student at the University of Utah, I visited the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Mormons Genealogical Library. It is now referred to as the Family History Library. It's actually now the Family Search Center, Family Search Library. Sorry, it's changed a few times. In those days, there was free access to their archives. There still is, the largest of its kind in the world. I was able to obtain photocopies of Ottoman records and Orthodox Church records from Palestine about members of my family. Thank you so much for sharing that, Salim. And that's actually a good segue to a record collection that I wanted to talk about. We have thousands and thousands of Palestinian census records from the Ottoman Empire. So it goes from, I can't remember the exact dates right now, but it's from the, I want to say like early to mid 1800s to the early 1900s, which is when the Ottoman Empire fell apart, if you will. And we're still working on refining the collection. There are some errors with the dates and things like that. But if you're interested, I would go to familysearch.org and do a search for those records. And you can also reach out to me directly if you're interested. My email address is Janice, JANICE .FREIJ at familysearch.org. And I will put it in the comments so that you will have that. So that is one thing I wanted to share with you. And then, John, I also want to tell you that somebody's joining us from Mexico, which is really,
Wonderful.
really
Welcome.
cool. Okay, so this is from Mary Harbsheets. She says, I was told females were included if there were not male children in the family. That was the case for my mother and her sister. And actually, that was the case for my mother. So my mom had, I mentioned earlier, she had 6 sisters and no brothers. And so she and all of her sisters are listed in the tree, which is pretty uncommon.
Actually, that is true. If somebody did not have any sons, you will see their names, the daughters' names, but they don't go beyond one generation.
Right.
The text, primarily in Arabic, which talks about them, sometimes it mentions the daughters, but the focus of the book is obviously patriarchal. It's
Yeah.
not oriented toward the woman, unfortunately. We are trying to correct that as best as we can.
Okay, thank you. Another question we have is from Joe Meshny. He says, I haven't seen the convention full agenda, but are you doing a 1-hour seminar at the convention like you did last year?
Well, thank you for bringing that up, Joe. I appreciate it because, yes, the answer to that, I'll be doing it in Houston, and you'll be seeing pretty much kind of sort of the same thing I'm having here. But I'm hoping I will have more face-to-face interface with you and see if I can show you some stuff live on the screen and answer some questions directly to you and so on. But yes, I do have 1-hour session twice during the convention.
And where's the convention going to be held this year?
Houston.
Houston. Okay.
Houston,
Okay,
yes.
great. And then we have let's see, from Victor Mislah. He is asking, are there any Bahu families from Ramallah that may have migrated to Lebanon?
From my knowledge, the Beho family is from Lud or Jaffa, not from Ramallah. There is many of them in Ramallah, living in Ramallah after the migration in 1948. And many of the Ramallah people married into Behu family. I'm not aware of any of them that migrated into Lebanon, as far as I know. What I know that there's a Ma'luf family, if you heard of them, in Lebanon, and we are related to them. And they are from Ramallah, who migrated many, many years, and they're still there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they're
That's
still
great.
there in Lebanon. So,
Okay.
but not Bahu. I'm not aware of a Bahu. There might
Okay.
be. I'm not saying they're not. It just I'm not aware of.
Okay. And we also have a comments from Julia Rafidi. She says, for anyone from Ramallah families, you are welcome to submit photos and documents to AFRP's Ramallah Preservation Project, RPP, at the email rppcommittee@afrp.org or on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you for sharing that, Julia.
Thank you very much, Julia. That's a very good plug. I was going to mention it toward the end. There's another group, or call it a program, by the Ramallah Federation for the purpose of preserving heritage and primarily documents or photos or anything related to that. Even they have interviews with many of the older Ramallah people, audio or video, and they've been putting them up there, maintaining them. So yes, please, if you have anything, send it to them, and they will maintain it and upload it, load it on your on their site. Right now, I believe they have thousands of photos. If you go there, you will see. So please do that.
Okay, thank you, Julia. So then we have another question. Actually, let's see. Okay, somebody asked a question that you already addressed, Catherine Cook. How can I find the clan I descended from? And you said that you can they can email you directly if they are not sure of their clan, and you can try to help them. Correct?
Right now, this is
Okay.
the best way.
Okay.
In the future remodel of the website, we plan to add a list of families in each clan, but right now that's not available. I have that information, so please email me, and I'm happy to send to you, let you know.
Okay. And somebody is asking when the convention is. Is that something you know off the top of your head? When
I
the
think Joe just posted that it's July 22nd to
Okay.
26th.
Oh, yep, there it is. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you,
That's
Joe. That's
wonderful.
helpful. I forgot the dates too.
Well, John, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for your time. We really, really appreciate it. I can even tell you how much I benefited from this. I have learned a lot, and I'm going to do a lot more research and a lot more digging now. And thank you all that attended. Again, you will be getting the links to this webinar to rewatch. And then please feel free again to come to familysearch.org to set up a free account, and also to rootstech.org to see our database of amazing free classes that you can attend. And hopefully you can come join us at Roots Tech in person next year. Thank you all so much. John, have a wonderful evening.
Well, thank you. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you joining. I hope this discussion was beneficial to you and helpful. And please send me updates, because that's the only the history alive and our connections together alive. Thank you
Sorry,
very much.
John, I think we lost you for a second. Are you back?
I'm back.
Okay. For some reason, we can't hear you, but I think John was saying he was giving his gratitude and saying,
Yes.
please reach out to him if you need anything at all. Thank you
Thank
all
you
so
very much.
much.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Bye.